How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Supercar 411. Today we are doing a Zoom meeting with some guys from Vertical Mile Rally, Dan and Joe. We've also got Foster, myself, and Steve. We're going to be talking all things rallies, having a good time, just hanging out the way we can during this quarantine, and let's see what happens. Stay tuned.
When I was a kid, I was like, oh, the more the exhaust pipes, the faster the car. So this thing's got to go so fast.
There's such a raw, deep connection when it comes to cars, because I know we've all experienced that situation where either it's us or someone outside of just, us coming to see our car. And 9 times out of 10, it's a kid. And that connection with kids, it's like you could fly past a car and a kid will see you go by and you see the smile on that kid's face. And it's magic, bro.
Yep.
Like we rented one of the cars from Houston and we were on the strip and it was hotter than hell. We're stuck in traffic. We pull up to the stoplight and this little kid's on his dad's shoulders and his dad goes, "Rev it." And so we put in neutral and just start revving. We were in one of the Huracans. We rev it like 2 or 3 times. Dude, this kid lost his mind.
Totally.
And so then, of course, now I have to keep revving it because every time that kid reacts, it's like magic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the dad's experiencing it and we're experiencing it as we're pulling away. The dad's like, "Thank you so much. You guys are awesome." And we're just like, no, it was way more awesome for us.
On our way back from our first rally that we held down to Vegas, we were just driving home. We were at the last stretch. Like, we had just hit Provo. So we're almost home. And we're in the GTR, and this, what was it, a Suburban pulls up next to us, and he sped up so fast to get up to us. His entire car is full of his family. He's got like 3 kids in each row. It's just like staring, and the older kids have their phones out and they're recording us. And like, it was that moment was just like game changing for me, because I'm like, I just made their day. Oh, yeah. And they totally made mine too. Like, this mundane part of this drive just got a heck of a lot better because these guys love seeing us. And I mean, it went 6 or 8 times where we just, punch it and they'd watch and then they'd try to catch back up and thumbs up. But I mean, those are some of the coolest experiences, is seeing the emotion on other people from, what it provides.
And it's crazy because we never said a word to each other. Like, their car and ours. Yeah. Like, never heard each other's voices at all.
Yep.
And still shared this connection over it. Yeah, there was about 20 minutes of just and then within that, there were a couple other cars that were like, "What? What are you doing? This PCR's coming through, this big wing." Yeah, totally. So you get that on rallies though, especially with group of supercars.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
So actually, on that note, on Corsa Rally, we joined in on the leg from Salt Lake to Vegas, but we were in Salt Lake the night that they were there, and they were staying the night, and we were in the BMW 5 Series, me and Steve, and we were like, oh, we should go to St. George, get the Maserati. We'll meet them in St. George, and we'll drive from St. George to Vegas. So that morning, we get up at like 5, 6 a.m., drive all the way down to St. George, get in the Maserati, drive to Leeds, of all places, because Damon was on the drive, and he was like, I need to eat. We're eating somewhere. And we told him, just wait till St. George, we'll eat somewhere. And he was like, no, we're stopping here. There's this barbecue place. And so we get into Leeds, where the population is maybe 2.5.
Right.
And we –
Did you just say
2.5? Literally, it gets to a point where we're not even taking up parking stalls anymore because there's not enough for our cars. And we have – I don't know. What do you think, Steve? Like 10?
There's only like 10 or 12 cars.
Yeah, but it was Damon in his Huracan, a 800 horsepower AMG GTS, 570 GT, Mustang GT350R, an R32 GTR with no AC.
Yeah.
Us in the Maserati, and a 911 went up.
Yeah, it was Rally Porsche's 911.
We flooded this place. Like, we just wanted food, and we were all like chill, like we're not in a huge rush. Everyone's been driving for forever, so we like to take breaks.
We want a break, yeah.
But like, all the workers like feel so bad, but everyone's just like staring out the windows. People are going out there taking pictures of all the cars, like all this stuff. And then we went to St. George and got gas, and then on the flip side of that, we all are pulled over on the side, and it's this road like this. The gas station's here. Damon goes forward and just does a 180. It was super tame.
All he did was legitimately, he just did an accelerated power slide because that's when he had the supercharged Hurricane, 900 horsepower.
Yeah,
it flipped it around.
And he just whips it around, and all of a sudden, Steve gets a text.
No, it was a phone call, bro.
Oh, yeah, it was a phone call at first. So you explain the phone call because you actually talked.
So we're just sitting on the side of the road. He comes down, flips that U-turn around, and all of a sudden my phone starts ringing. I look down, and it's one of the local contractors here that I work with. And he was building the Black Bear Diner right there next to the Maverick, right off the exit. And he's like, you better tell your friend that if he does that one more time, I'm calling the cops. I've had it up to here with you guys and your supercars. You know, this is why you guys have such a bad reputation, because all these people that drive Lamborghinis are all
watch your profanity,
and they do just stupid crap like that. And I'm like, are you kidding right now? Like, is this a joke? Like,
come on.
And he's like, no, I'm dead serious. He goes, I'm on the city council, you know. I could have the cops here in 2 seconds.
Well, my favorite.
Well, we're leaving town right now, so.
Yeah.
My favorite part was when Steve goes, well, I'll tell him to do it again, and ends it.
Yeah.
So then
Nice.
all 10 of us just rip it onto the freeway because no one knew but us. But obviously, you know, we're going, and then we're driving, and we get to the gorge, the canyon between Utah and Vegas, and we're driving, and there's this dually Ram 3500, and he's just, you know, cruising along, and we all fly past him except us and the R32 GTR.
Yep.
Because we're kind of hanging behind, and everyone kind of slows down once we get past him. So then we end up next to him, and we're just driving. I'm trying to be the co-driver, you know, looking at the maps, talking to people, whatnot, and all of a sudden his window's down. He is like out of his window like this, steering in this hand, calling what I assume to be the police in this hand, and screaming at us. He's like, you guys are driving like.
Bro, when you say screaming, we have the windows up with the air conditioning on, and we can hear dude yelling through.
Oh, and we're doing like 80. I mean, this guy is going crazy, and he starts like swerving, like you guys are going crazy, and like starts like kind of coming into us like this. Yeah. And so we actually, so if I remember, the R32 is in front of us, so we're the back of the pack. And so we're like, well, we can't get stuck behind this guy because if we do, now we're hooked. We get up, and I'm texting Dave because he was driving with Damon. He was the passenger. I was like, hey, there's a truck back here. He's calling the cops, flipping out. What do you want to do? Next thing you know, Damon, I don't know. Do you remember what he texted back? I feel like it was something along the lines.
He texted back. He just texted back and said, everybody in front of me.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. All of a sudden, we all pass him. Damon's on the side. He goes over. There's a semi truck right here, obviously doing like 40 miles an hour. And Damon, so the Dodge is here. Damon goes right in front of him and just slows right down to the same speed as the truck. And he just texts us and just says, tell everyone to go. So we all start booking it. And we're going through this canyon. Or actually,
this was at the bottom of the canyon. Yeah, this is at the bottom.
What was that?
I said this was at the bottom of the canyon when we were going through Mesquite.
Yeah, because through the canyon, he was staying with us at 95 miles in a dually Ram. Wow. And we were driving pretty reasonably until he showed up, and we were trying to get away from him so we didn't get ran off the road by this massive truck. But anyways, so Damon's holding me back, and we're still at the back, and we get way ahead, and our up in maybe 3-4 miles. And so I turn to Steve. I'm like, I know exactly what's going to happen. I'm just waiting for it to happen. And then we're just sitting there talking, and I'm like, I think I see his lights. I'm looking in the mirror, and then just next thing you know, Damon just, like literally passed us at easily 180. And then we all get onto that exit, the 570 GT. We lose him. Never saw the Ram again. But dude, it was so close. He was swerving into us, all this stuff. It was actually really scary, but made it out.
Well, that was also, I mean, as funny as that moment was and exciting as that moment was, that rally, that whole situation totally flipped to 180 about not even an hour later, because we went the back way and we were cruising down by Lake Mead and then entered in the backside of Valley of Fire, and we were going down through Valley of Fire, and we had stopped taking pictures with all the cars and everything. We're getting ready to head back back on the main road that kicks back out right where the Moapa gas station's at. And just as we were getting ready to leave, all the cars are going. And then all of a sudden we see Damon pull off the side of the road and then flip a U-turn and go flying back. And so like all the cars start making U-turns. So we U-turn, and the guy in the R34 was like, dude, I'm almost out of gas. And I'm like, well, we'll stick with you mainly because one, my Maserati's not catching any of those cars. And two, if you run out of gas, at least we have 2 other seats. We can put you in the car and take you back.
Yeah.
So they stayed with us. They're dying of heat stroke at this point because it's probably like 95 degrees. And we're cruising through Valley of Fire, working our way back. And I remember as we come up the hill and make the corner, all we see is a cop car and all the supercars lined up on the side of the road. And I'm like, oh no, they got them. Like the cops nailed them. And as we pull up, we realize immediately, no, it's not the cops that had stopped them. It was the cops that were reporting to the 720S that went end over end on Corsa.
Oh,
that car right there.
Wow.
We came up on that accident literally maybe 20 minutes after the 2 people that were involved in the accident had left the scene, and the cops had just shown up because they had gotten a call that there was a wrecked car on the side of the road.
That's insane. Yeah, that car was just destroyed.
Did you guys ever hear like the whole story and like what happened, like the area of the accident? So there's a long, probably 1.5 miles long, straight as an arrow road, and then a freaking left-hand turn at the end.
Oh,
It is just a 90.
They had to have been flying, and as you make that left, if you miss it, you go off into the dirt, and then you like literally their car had to have gone off the dirt about 100 yards straight, and there's a ravine that's probably 12 feet deep right there. But it goes from 12 down to about 54 feet deep.
Oh, wow.
And they hit the ravine at the 12-foot part that's only about 6 feet wide. And as they went across the ravine, they jumped it like this, and the rear tire hit, and it flipped the car end over end.
Oh.
Had they been 5 feet to the right, that car smacks right into the face of the ravine, and they're dead.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
You're lucky that they got out of
bro, you have no idea. Like,
it would have been.
The car was destroyed, but when you saw, like, the actual, like, the evidence of what led to where it was at, because when it hit with such impact that the rear tire was, like, almost a mile down the ravine.
It was so
it pulled it clear off the car.
That's
and thank God nobody was hurt. Like, they all walked away from it.
Right.
And the cockpit was still in perfect shape. Like, the car was beat to piss, but the inside had dirt and debris and everything else, but everything structurally was still intact.
Wow. Thanks, McLaren. That's good.
Man, it's the only thing they've ever done right.
Yeah. Right. Didn't need any maintenance on that part.
Yeah, the rest of the car, total pile of crap. But the monocoque, perfect.
It is crazy. You see some of the most insane things on rallies.
Absolutely.
We were running pretty hard with a dark gray Huracan Performante, and coming up, keeping up with everybody was probably a 2019 Ford Mustang GT. That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
V8, and we're like, what? How is this car running so hard? come to find out, we come up to the next stop. Everybody's like, dude, what have you got done to this? He's like, oh, it's a rental, man. I put 200 shot of NOS in it.
In a rental.
Get out of here.
No
That's
kidding.
hilarious.
No kidding. Shows it. he did the whole inside to through. He's like, oh yeah, 200 shot of NOS. That thing ran. And I tell you what, we got to Vegas. The car did not sound right.
Oh, I'll bet.
Somebody's gonna buy that Ford G or the Mustang GT. It's gonna have, from the rental car company. It's gonna have 35,000 miles on it, 25,000 miles, whatever, and another 15,000 miles. That thing is gonna fall apart.
The whole top end's gonna explode.
Yeah, seriously.
It only has 35,000 miles, but it's a 7-cylinder now.
Yeah, exactly, right? But it was crazy because everyone was like mind blown, like, what in the world is going on? Because it was running. Sure enough, 200 shot a notch through the rental Mustang.
Bet you that guy had the time of his life.
He loves it. About the insurance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We did both times that we've done Italian Stampede, we've bootlegged it. And the first time we got invited by Damon, and we parked across the street at the gas station. And then as they were getting ready to leave, we hauled up Highway 1 and stopped at a gas station to get fuel.
Can I tell this part of the gas station?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So we're getting fuel, and they go behind. We had already barely made it to the start, and then all of a sudden, we're like, okay, well, we'll go get gas and try and figure it out. I run inside. I'm like, we need drinks. We're about to drive for who knows how long. We don't know when the next stop is. And so we'll just have to see. So we go in there and get drinks. And I'm just standing there. I have a $20 bill, and I'm buying 2 Mountain Dews. So I'm like, holy crap. And there's this old lady in front of me getting her cigarettes. I'm like, dude, I literally don't have time for this. I'm watching cars go flying past in the windows. So no joke, she finishes. I tell her, scan this twice, give her the 20. I go, I have to go. And I walk out, and I just walk out there. I go, you're out $20. We got to go. And we just fly. And we make a left turn out of a right turn only turn, just right into this rally. There's like 4 cops around us. We're like, if they pull us over, I mean, we're on the rally. They don't know any different.
Yeah.
And so we're just flying, and it goes from there. But
So fast forward, this is that same time when Kobe was telling you about the F50s in front of us. There's the Diablo SV right to the side of us right here. And then the final edition Aventador SV, right? Or S?
yeah, so it was the last ever built Aventador SV. It's built just like a Mira edition. So it has a brown tan interior. It's a dark green with a silver on the bottom and silver wheels. It's like the most amazing spec. I mean, it's like really awful because it like should never be done, but it looks so good. Like that's the only way I can describe it.
So we're cruising down the PCH with that. I mean, just to give you the setting.
Yeah.
And then we come up, and that's when they merge us onto I-5, right? So we get on I-5, and we're hauling, headed towards Monterey. And I said to Kobe, I'm like, do you know how funny it is that here we didn't have anything to do with the rally, and yet we bootleg our way in. And no one's asking questions because we're in an Italian car.
Yeah.
And just as I say this, here comes this Audi flying up next to us, right? And these guys are taking pictures and everything. The cops that are giving us the freaking, giving us the police escort, one of them peels off, pulls this dude over. The cops were behind us the whole time, and because we're in an Italian car, we have no stickers on our car. We have no affiliation whatsoever. We just happen to be in an Italian car driving with all the other Italian cars, and the poor guy in the Audi just looks at us like, wait a minute, what the? And he's going to pull over, and we're just off to the.
But not to mention, I mean, the merge onto I-5 was insane. They closed off every single lane but the fast lane. All you see and hear is people stupidly angry on that turn. Just,
horns honking, people screaming.
We are just flying, and they can't do anything because they're cops. Like the cops are with us, and they're shutting down lights on PCH, and we're going through them at 110, and the cops are just go on.
Yeah, we literally. I can honestly say that Kobe and I have done 120 miles an hour through the middle of Malibu on the PCH.
Whoa!
And not only did we do it, we at the time that we were doing it, we had cops telling us, "Hurry up, let's go, let's go."
I bet you they were thinking we weren't going fast enough.
Yeah.
Let alone, so fast forward a couple 100 miles and a couple insane moments of Houston ahead of us. Next thing you know, he's behind us. Story was he was getting chased by the cops and hid, and then all of a sudden he was behind us because he passed the cop doing 180. But we get up, we take this alternate route where you go through this hill and stuff, and we're towards the back still. We seem to be in the back a lot, but it's like the place to be. It's just a good place. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, someone got pulled over. What happened? And it's all like literally there's so many motorcycle cops. I'm like, what is going on here? But there's a couple SUVs behind them. I'm like, so who'd they pull over? And CHP, California Highway Patrol, is pulling over the Malibu police that are escorting us. And literally you just see the like the California Highway Patrol up like this, screaming at the Malibu cops.
Dude, he was
Apparently,
berating him
because they're out of their jurisdiction because they're not in Malibu anymore, and so they were pissed because we're breaking all these laws, and they are too because they're not even in their jurisdiction. But our cops got pulled over.
What?
That's crazy.
Hey, that I can honestly say that's the only rally I've ever been on where the cops pulled over the cops as the supercars just flew by.
Oh, and
the funniest part was
easily doing like $110.
As the California Highway Patrolman is like, just like Kobe said, I mean, he's in his face, just just popping right off of his chest like this the whole time, just yelling at him. Meanwhile, 130, 140 mile an hour supercars.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. You get the craziest stuff happens that you would never experience any other way besides on a rally.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we did our first Corsa, we joined in San Francisco and did the second half down to Vegas. And one of the coolest experiences ever, they shut off these one-way streets. We were driving the wrong way on these one-way roads that were blocked off at every intersection. There were cops there. It was so cool. It was like a giant. So where did we stop? It
was 27 blocks of police escort in downtown San Francisco, and the plan wasn't to stop, but they stopped right by Fisherman's Wharf. And for like 15 minutes or so,
cars are just running in the middle of the road. We get out, people are just filming it, and
just swarms of people.
And it was totally like approved and fun and okay. It was great.
Just go, and cops are like, "Come on, let's go." You're on the other side of a double yellow. We're going the wrong way in one ways.
Yep.
Yeah.
The best, when you can do stuff that you know for a fact you'll never be able to do, and the cops are encouraging it. Hey, done.
Totally.
Right.
So
that's the only way to drive in San Francisco, though, because I hate the roads in San Francisco. Not worth it unless you're going the wrong way on a one-way.
Yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily a rally, but we were doing a drive here in Utah. It's like an annual event called Supercar Splash. The drive is super short. It's from Lux Auto Spa up to a house. It's maybe 30 minutes if you're driving at normal speed.
Yeah.
And so we are not, we're with of the house. And so we're following behind him. He's in a LP 640 gated manual. And I can only imagine how many times he's done this drive.
Hey, we're in a 996 911 gated manual. Well, not gated, but manual nonetheless.
Not gated, but manual. And we are just going for it. And then we end up on top of this hill, and there's a hill leading up to it, and we all park on the side. People are revving. People are going past, filming all these videos, and all of a sudden cops show up. And I was like, I know for a fact the cops were called on us while we were on the freeway. There is no possible way they weren't. Whether it was on us or the people that were so sadly behind us because they were the ones that got the blunt of it. But they go up. They blocked off the road so that we could picture. Like literally they just blocked it off. They're like, oh yeah, rev it, keep going. And it's just 2-lane road. People are just trying to get home or away from their house. And they just block it off. We had no reason for them to. And we're just sitting there and then we're just taking pictures, having a good time. Like,
that's awesome.
It was so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just want you to know, we finished second, only to the owner of the house, because that's disrespectful.
That's right. That's right. That's something you got to learn.
That's awesome.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, it's so fun. I'll tell you the most amazing part, and the whole reason that we do rallies, because we set them up and we run them for the business, and we enjoy that aspect. I'll tell you, it's a lot more stressful than going on one.
Oh, wow.
We enjoy attending them too, and so we get the best of both worlds for sure. But the best part about the whole thing is the people that you meet.
Oh,
because
absolutely, 100%.
It's so crazy because we've ran rallies and been on rallies where you show up and you don't meet anybody, or you meet some people, but then there's a few people that you don't meet, and then you go drive for 2, 3, 4 hours, whatever, with those people, and you pull into a gas station or a lunch stop or or the hotel that you're going to stay at, and you get out, automatically you're like, dude,
Best friends. Yep.
that was awesome. Just like that. You've never talked to him before, and it's there forever.
Definitely.
And that's one thing that me and Steve have always had is we're not in these insane supercars, and I think you guys might relate to this. So we show up in these places and like we know how to drive. Like we will keep up no problem. And so like
what are you, French?
with the 800 what?
I said what are you, French?
I know, hey,
You got a mouse in your pocket?
I would like to point out I have kept up with a lot of supercars in a BMW 5 Series.
It was in limp mode.
That's a true story.
Yeah, you did.
So I have the driving skill. But anyways, I remember when we stopped at a gas station on Corsa, and the owner of the AMG TS gets out and he goes, "You guys are so good. Like, how'd you keep up?" Because we're with Damon and this AMG, and they're both 900 horsepower, and we're just in the Maserati sedan, and we kept up no problem. And like that's how you meet people. They're like, "Dude, you drive like, how'd you drive like that?" Or "That's such a cool looking car," like stuff like that, or "That sounds so good." And you know, people.
Well, to your point, remember when we did the single day drive for Cars for Kids, and we won't say anything, but may or may not have burned up the set of brakes on the Maserati. But
there's a reason we only did half the drive.
But I mean, honestly, like truth be told, how many people came up to us and said, "Holy crap, I didn't know that car could do that."
Oh yeah, because we started at the back and ended only behind, I think it was like a 720S, a Huracan, the Cougar, the guy that ran the event because his transmission blew out and he just went straight to the finish. It kept overheating, so he just cheated. But we were behind little to no one, and we were going through a 2-lane canyon, you know, 1 lane this way, 1 lane that way. I had Waze out telling him what corners were coming up. Like literally it was like a rally. Like, I mean, like the dirt rallies. Like I'm like, oh, there's a corner coming up. It's about maybe a 90-degree turn. Might want to break a little bit into it, like stuff like that. And we are just flying, passing people. There's a brand new Audi RS5 behind us that's like built. I mean, that's a 600 horsepower all-wheel drive car.
Yeah.
Like we didn't even know where he was by the end, and we were eating dinner by the time he showed up.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, we've had some amazing drives. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you know, like I was keeping up with the GTR when we did the dash to Dover.
Totally. Yeah.
Totally. A lot of that is just, I mean, you can have the fastest car in the world, but if you don't know how to drive it, you'll never ever be able to get what you need out of that car.
Right.
And my dad is a former police officer, and so growing up, we were able to do all these defensive driving and like aggressive driving classes that the state had, that they would put all of the officers through. And then they would, like, if you had like a son or a daughter that was in between, like you had to be 16 or older and all that. And my dad would take me every single time. He would make me pay for it. It was like a couple $100 each time. But I took like 5 or 6 of those classes. And literally, like, there were times where, like, I've actually been in a built police car that they spin you on purpose to see if you can recover.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And they take you out on the skid pad, and you do, you know, basically you start as wide as you can and try and get as narrow and tight as you can until you're just throwing the car in a full drift. And like, you know, learning all of that has been like, having that experience makes me like the driver that I am now. And so, like, I'm always confident when I'm in a car. And if I'm uncomfortable with the situation, I'll back out.
Right. Totally.
I know, like, we just did a drive. I don't know if you guys saw our last video when we did the drive in Vegas. Yep. Like, we were the 3rd car in the entire rally, and we backed clear out because I'm like, I'm not playing this game. I'm not getting involved, because, like, what they were doing was so out of control that I'm just like, I mean, we were literally us here, a Ferrari in front of us, a Lambo in front of that, a semi-truck in the other lane, and a Mustang passes on the right shoulder.
Wow.
And I'm like, nope, I'm done. And I just went into the other shoulder behind the semi-truck, and we just let everybody go by.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, I'm done. I'm not playing this game.
Yeah.
Nope.
I mean, they're a lot of fun, but the safety has to be there. Like, you've got to know what you're doing. You've got to feel like you're not around people that are going to cause problems. And It's not worth it.
Well, and to that point, and I know this is a controversial subject. You know, when you guys do the free drives, that's half the reason why I'm like, maybe not.
Totally.
Because when we did the last free drive, Kobe and Foster were in Zane's GTR, and they almost got ran off the road by a Honda Civic. And I'm just like, you know, and it sounds totally like an arrogant a-hole with his supercars, but there's certain people that just shouldn't be on drives. You know what I mean?
Well, the reality of it is, when you're in a 600 horsepower performance purpose-built car,
Right,
and then there's a 1990s economy sedan trying to keep up with you,
with tires that are this wide,
Exactly.
you got this much rubber on the road.
There's more PSI in my turbos than there is in your wheels. Come on.
One of my turbos.
Yeah. But you know, but that being said, you know, like all drives are fun, and it's just a matter of like keeping it under control. And that's where, honestly, hats go off to you guys for being able to put the drives together, first of all, because that's a ton of work.
It's a lot.
I mean, we've talked about doing it and never actually done the work. And we've just, in discussing it, we realize how much work it is. And so, I mean, honestly, hats off to you guys for doing that. And, you know, we love going on your drives because exactly that, like, we've got to meet new people every single time we've gone. And every time we've been, everybody's cool. Like, we've never had any beef with anybody.
Yeah. And honestly, your drives are almost the exact same infrastructure that our drives that we talked about were. Like, they're almost exactly what we wanted. And so it's so perfect that we've been able to partner with you guys and become friends with you guys and be able to go on your drives, because they're what we wanted to do, but we get the easy side of it. We bring a camera and have the fun, you know, the funnest time of our lives.
Hey, whoa.
You guys put in this hard work.
We have the hardest part, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, do you know how heavy this camera is?
Exactly.
I'm telling you, they are definitely a ton of work. They're so rewarding, though. The people that we meet, the experiences we have, and seeing it all come together. I watched on our website, we have a video of our very first event down to Vegas, and I watched it yesterday. Totally got goosebumps because of just seeing how far we've come.
Was that the event that we met up with you guys at the beginning but didn't go on the drive?
Yeah, where you hooked us up with the tour of royalty and
Yeah, because we had
amazing.
a full-blown tour of royalty, going in the back, checking out where they service the cars and all that. Yeah, seeing where we've come and the work we've put in and what we've learned is awesome. It's been so much fun. Totally a ton of work. Yeah. I mean, we're constantly doing stuff. And
but the cool thing is, like, you go through and you put all that work and effort into it, but the friendships and the relationships that we've built. So every single person that you see in that video is still in contact with us today and still hits us up about all the new events that we're rolling out, and they all want to come and attend. And it's people want what we're doing, and it's been a blast. It's been so much more fun than I imagined it would be. It's a lot more work than I had any idea going into.
I believe that too.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, because you think like, oh, I'll throw a rally together. Oh, I'll find a restaurant to eat at, and then I'll choose a drive route, and then maybe I'll book a hotel. If it was that is so much more than that. It is so much more, for sure. But it's totally a ton of fun. And on that drive, we did the Vegas one. We did the Lake Mead, like, recreational area, whatever road, and then we did Valley of Fire. I got to drive Clayton's Porsche, Clayton Stark's from Summit Auto Lab. Yeah. I had to drive his Cayman, and then we let somebody drive our GTR too. Yeah. Everybody's super. I mean, that's the thing. You meet people's experiences. It's so much fun.
When we started this channel, like, our whole mentality was the Cup Gang mentality, the Cars Unite people. And that's the whole idea that's always been behind our whole channel, is we want to bring that experience in whatever way possible that we can, package it together, and present it to where a guy who's stuck in Minnesota in the middle of the winter can fire up that video and know, like, that's what you could experience. Yeah, and we're trying to bring every facet of that experience to that person, because you can have a million. I mean, there could be a million different news channels that are out there, but there's not one other news channel that shows up to the event.
Totally.
Yeah.
And there's so much that you'll never get from just stories. Like you've got to be there. You've got to experience it. So I wasn't a car guy 3-4 years ago. I had a Jeep Cherokee and a Toyota Corolla, and that was what I drove. And Joe and I became really good friends, and he started talking to me about, wouldn't this like Gold Rush be cool and Corsa be cool, and kind of like put the idea in my head. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, it would be pretty cool. But then we went and did one. And the things that you experience, you just talking about them and what's up, dude? You can't
shut up.
You can't share stories that give you the same feelings that you're going to get when you're having those experiences.
Absolutely.
It's unreal, like going through it and experiencing it versus just trying to talk to someone about it. But being there and having you guys are at every event that you can make it to. Yeah. Like it's awesome. It gives you that feel of it and getting to see what's involved. So
I cannot wait to take someone who is probably like not a car person, never really even thought of its experience, maybe never heard of a rally, on one. Yeah. Throw them in the front seat and go, it's fun. It's like a group road trip. Like, you're going to have a great time. And 4 minutes later.
Exactly.
Now 4 minutes later, they're sitting in the front seat, gripping the handles like, whoa. Right.
It's amazing how many people I talk to just in everyday life that I'm like, yeah, let's go for a ride in the GTR. How fast is the fastest you've ever been? They're like, yeah, like 90, 95. Yeah.
Oh, dude, trust me. When we did Dash to Dover and you guys told me that old boy in the Camaro went the fastest he's ever gone and he hit like 110. And I'm like, that's like my cruising speed between Vegas and St. George.
Yeah, totally. If I'm having a road trip, that's how fast I'm going.
Yeah.
So
the sad part is like, I don't ever mean for that to come across like I'm being a jerk, you know what I mean? But like, I mean, I even said to the guy, I'm like, that's awesome for you because that's your new plateau.
Exactly.
And we all had our own plateaus as we went. Because I remember Kobe and I and my stepson were in the Maserati going to Vegas when we hit 150 for the first time. And that was literally at like 7:30 in the morning, nobody around, and we're cruising, we're flying down I-15, and we're just like, 145, 148, 150. And we're like, I mean, you know, you're freaking out. You got chills. You're like, it's like this huge rush of adrenaline. And then we like slow down. And we're like, well, guess we don't need to get coffee anymore. We're like, I'm wide awake. There's nothing stopping me now.
You feel alive, like fully alive, for sure.
And that's the other piece of it that you can't get without actually experiencing one is like, you go drive like that and then you're exhausted and you hit the bed, but you got to wake up the next morning and do it all over again because it doesn't stop. Like you do it for 3, 4, 5 days in a row. Yeah. It's so much fun.
I remember when we left Vegas super early in the morning because we had to be back.
Oh my gosh. We left at 3 in the morning. We had to drive. So we had, oh my gosh.
This is a crazy story.
So we started the rally in Joe's M3, right? And something happened. I don't even want to get into it, but his car wasn't going to be able to finish the rally. So we parked it in Lovelock, Nevada at some casino.
No, you did not.
No, so this story is unreal. Like we could go for hours. Okay. We paid some girl $200 to drive us from Lovelock, Nevada to Reno because that was the closest place we could rent anything respectable.
No way.
She did it with 2 kids in the car. She's like, unreal, but she's like $200. Yeah, that'll change my life.
Where did you find this girl is what I want to know.
We went and talked to the hotel.
We can't talk about that part.
But so we catch a ride into Lovelock and we are into Reno and we rent a car there because that's actually we met up with the Corsa guys there and drove into San Francisco with them. We ended up renting a Dodge. It was
Challenger RT.
At least it was the RT. But we were that guy on the route. We were like the Mustang guy, but we didn't put the 200 shot NOS in. Right?
Yeah.
How
so
fast
you didn't
can
buy
we
the
get this
insurance.
Dodge? It's shaking wall.
But so we had rented it, and when we finished Corsa, I had to be back for my daughter's school performance at 6 o'clock. And now, instead of leaving from Vegas and going up to Salt Lake, we had to go from Vegas to Reno to Salt Lake.
To drop it off.
So instead of a 5-hour drive, it was like a 13.
No, it was way
It was
long.
ridiculous.
Crap.
And so
we had to peel stickers that we had put on the rental, because if we return it like that, we're getting fined. So we get there, our fingers are bleeding because we're scraping the stickers off. It was
because they wouldn't let us return it in Reno. So we leave Vegas at 3:30 in the morning. Long story short, I end up leaving my driver's license and some cash on the nightstand in the hotel because it was 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
We're driving. I'm driving. I stopped to get gas, and I'm like, crap, I don't have my license. What am I going to do? I call them, whatever. I ended up getting it. They sent it to me, and they wrote me a check for the cash. Yeah. Thank you, MGM. And so that happened. Dan hops in and starts driving, or this was maybe this was you driving first.
And you fell asleep.
I fell asleep, and I'm sleeping in the passenger seat, laid back, and like in my like dreams in my subconscious, I just hear, and I'm like, holy crap! I kind of like come out of this slumber and I look up. Here's Dan. It's dark out. Who knows? 6 in the morning or something. 146 miles an hour.
It was great.
I'm like, whoa!
That thing's a boat. That thing is impossible to drive. But I wanted to see how fast we could get it.
He stopped at 146. He lets off, slows back down, 120, whatever, starts pulling it back, and I'm like, I go back to sleep.
I don't want to see what you're doing with my car.
Just woke up. We just woke up for the magic moment, and then
it was so crazy because I woke up and I'm like, "Holy crap, we're flying!"
That's hilarious. Well, hey guys, before we end this, give us an update of everything that's going on. What do you have coming up?
A lot, actually. We've been hard at work trying to get some stuff going on. We've secured a date for our Moab rally, so it's going to be in May. It's Moab 30th. In May instead of March to Moab. Yep. So yeah, May 30th. So we'll be doing that. We may have a couple spots that are open, but like everybody almost is still in. One guy might not come because his wife's having a baby. And
what's head count right now for total amount of people on this drive?
So we have 30 cars on the list. There's no doubt in my mind that we can fit at least 30. There's a chance we might be able to snag a couple more rooms at the hotel. It's going to be sick though, because the hotel can only sell 49 of their rooms at a time. And we've got at least 30 of them. So we might be able to get 35. So it's going to be almost just us.
There will be probably 35 cars just as
parking lot.
There's going to be like 2 families there just for a trip. Like, what is happening?
Odyssey.
Why is the hotel shaking? Yeah. And so it'll easily, and we have 30 registered. Sweet. We still have some of our other sponsors coming. We got you guys. Yeah, all of those will be cars 100%. Not counted in the 30s. So there'll probably be 35 cars at least. Pretty good lineup for sure. We are like almost 100. We're so close to announcing our next event that we're going to be probably running in July, which is going to be a 2 or 3 night event, which will be really fun for sure. And still at a pretty good price point too.
So very good.
Absolutely.
And then
we're looking forward to that Moab event. We're going to be there filming, obviously.
Well, thanks for joining us, guys. I can't wait for the rally coming up, and obviously we appreciate the partnership that we have with you guys. Not only on the channel and your guys' business perspective, but I mean honestly as friends. Like just being able to come together and become friends, and then to be able to join both forces together. For us, it's awesome. We love the fact that we have a dedicated rally company that we can support and follow up with and create content.
Okay, that just about wraps it up, guys. I think we had a good talk with the people from Vertical Mile Rally, Joe and Dan. It was great talking with them. Looking forward to the things coming up ahead. Make sure to like and subscribe. Stay classy. Peace.